These are the plaintiffs, Jason Lang and Louis Lupinacci. Jason says the defendant, his landlord, owes him money. That's why they're here today. The guy's dog would constantly get into the bedroom and sleep in the bed, and the defendant did nothing about it. They moved out. The uncaring defendant's retaliating against them by withholding their security, and they're suing for every penny of the $3,781.12 they're owed. This is the defendant, Robert Ingenito. He says the plaintiff secretly moved in a third tenant who suffered from dementia. She stayed home all day harassing his family, the mailman, and the neighbors. He eventually told them they had to leave. They left the place a bloomin' mess, and he has every right to keep their security, to pay for the cleanup. He's accused of hounding a tenant. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $5,000 for violating the terms of his lease.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiffs say the defendant is holding their security hostage, and he has some nerve because his dog was sleeping on their bed while they lived there. But the defendant says the plaintiffs are pigs. It's the case of a dog.
Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome,
Jason Lang and Louis Lupinacci, you are suing Robert Ingenito, your former landlord, for $3,781.12 for the return of your security deposit, your broker fee, pain and suffering, and loss of work. You are counterclaiming $5,000 because they violated the lease. Tell me what's going on.
Pleasure, Your Honor. I have a copy of the lease here.
Okay.
And I have a copy
What
of
happened here? So you find this place, and this place was what? The other half of a house that he was living in?
Correct.
All right. Did you have your own kitchen, your own bathroom, your own everything?
Yes.
All right. So tell me about it. You're living there, and what goes wrong?
Well, there was a dog in the house, and he kept on going to the apartment.
How did it go into the apartment? Don't you have a separate lock?
Well, the dog opened it with his mouth.
So how was the dog getting in if your door was locked? I mean, my dog opens the door.
It's really
but
nice.
my dog doesn't open the door when the door is locked.
It's a really nice neighborhood, Your Honor. So we leave
Okay,
the
so
door
you choose
unlocked.
not to lock it. All right,
Yes.
and what was happening?
The dog was coming in on its own and just laying down, going in the bed, throwing up on the floor, things like that.
Why don't you just lock the door?
I like the dog, actually.
Oh, okay. So why are you telling me about this? I thought you were going to tell me how unlivable the place was.
I have allergies, Your Honor.
Okay, then why don't you lock the door?
We would, but Mr. Lupinacci was in the house sleeping. And
Who was?
Mr. Lupinacci. And Mr. Lupinacci must have left it open.
Okay. Kind of seems like that's under your control, though, because you kind of like the dog. But go on. What else was wrong? Why did you leave the apartment?
Allergies.
Okay, so did you have a lease or you didn't have a lease?
We had a lease, yes.
So did you give a month's notice?
Yes.
All right, and so there's no issue about notice in this case, right? The month's notice was fine.
No.
All right, so you left and everything's fine. When you leave, do you do a walkthrough?
Mr. Robert did walk through.
With you or no?
No, I wasn't there.
All right, you did a walkthrough and you wrote a check.
Yes.
How much?
$1,200.
The entire amount of the deposit?
Yes.
But then the next night, or the next day, you stopped payment?
Yes.
Why?
Because once I discovered what was wrong with the apartment, doing a finer inspection.
What was wrong with your eyeballs the night before?
There wasn't enough light in the room.
Well, then why do you do an inspection when there's not enough light in the room? What's wrong with you?
Because
Are you sure it's not that your wife got mad at you and said, I can't believe you wrote these guys a check after all we've been through?
That has something to do with it,
Yeah, because that's how it smells to a woman who's been married 23 years. All right? That's how it smells to me. So tell me about it.
I issued the check in good faith that the
It's
apartment
not in good faith. You issued the check because you were done with your business with them, and then you changed your mind. So tell me what gives you the right to change your mind. What damages did they leave behind, or what? I guess it would only be for damages.
I have a video that I can show you with some of the proof.
Okay. Can we put that up on the screen, please?
This is a video of our previous tenants and the damage they've done to the apartment. This is where they had a couch. You can see the difference in color variation, how dirty it is.
I can, but I also see dirt on the area where couch was.
As you can tell, there are various stains on the walls, the doors. The door handle has been glued back on incorrectly.
What is it I'm supposed to be seeing here? I'm seeing a perfectly clean apartment other than the carpet.
There's tomato sauce right there.
Okay.
It keeps going.
There's tomato sauce, but I don't think that's going to tie you $1,200.
You can see the staining of the food all over here. There's something
Do you see it?
funky over
Stop
there.
this thing. Wait, no, I hear you talking, but I don't see the things you say I'm supposed to see. So I need you to come over here and point to them.
Sure. Stuck in here. There's stains along here. Stains.
I was supposed to see that in the video?
Yes, you can see it when you look at it up close. There's leftover food debris, and that was all over the house. Leftover food debris. The shower knobs were broken and had to be replaced.
Can you show me that in the video?
I have another video if you go look at one of the other videos.
Okay, don't move. You
Sure.
stay right there. What's this a picture of?
I come to the conclusion that they were probably smoking inside of the apartment. There's evidence of some type of sticky resin, possibly illegal drugs. And this drawer in the kitchen. You can see over here, here's some leftover incense. Once again, produces smoke. No smoking was one of the rules. Needless to say, it's pretty evident that they were breaking multiple contract rules, multiple violations. And that's it for this video.
Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead and go back to the podium because we can't hear you when you're not mic'd.
Sure.
Oh, there's a third video. When did you take this one?
This one would have been the last one I took after the 5th.
Noticed some more stuff after the tenants had left. These knobs were all loose and busted.
I object, Your Honor.
To what? To what? To your clean apartment being shown on television? To what?
I heard enough,
Actually,
really.
that corner, that was clean before they came in.
Okay, I've seen enough. So the only thing that you think is damage are the knobs of the shower, right? Everything else is cleaning?
No.
What is
Nothing
damage
was clean.
besides that?
The front door handle, which was on the first video, was glued on backwards, and you were unable to turn the lock.
But how come you didn't turn it for me so I could see all that in your video? I didn't even see it glued on or whatever you're talking about. I didn't see anything.
I did have to replace it, and it has been
Do
replaced.
you have the receipt for replacing
I have
it?
receipts for everything that has been replaced.
Okay, let me see the receipts that you have.
Sure.
And were you angry to see them go or happy to see them go? Whose
Happy.
decision was it for them to go?
It was my decision.
Okay, so when he says, oh, it was just I couldn't live there because of the dog, he's making that up.
Completely.
All right, and why did you want to see your tenants go?
They had an illegal tenant living with them for the entire 5 months.
All right.
Lewis's mother.
Lewis's mother.
Yes, it was a
And-
violation of Clause 3 of the contract.
Okay, and how do you know she was living there? You saw her all the time? You're living in the other
She
half?
was there more than they were.
Okay. Did you have any problems with her?
Yes, we did.
What were the
We had
problems?
numerous problems. On 3 separate occasions, there were ambulances in front of my house with emergency personnel disturbing the peace, sometimes for no apparent
Wait,
reason.
who was disturbing the peace?
Well, they
You
were.
mean it's upsetting to have an ambulance in front of your house?
Yes, and they were blocking the street, and my neighbors were taking notice of these things.
Go on.
She would harass the mailman for her mail. She would
Meaning what? How do you harass a mailman for mail?
She would call from the upper deck and ask if she had any mail on numerous
How is
occasions.
that harassing the mailman?
Well, when you're doing it numerous times, it's harassment.
Says who?
Says the harassment law. She would also
Really?
harass me. Yes.
Really? By
Says
saying,
Robert.
where's the mail? That's
Pretty
harassment?
much.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I
Do
would
you have
walk into
some
my
from
front
the
door.
mailman saying he felt terribly harassed by her by asking
It wasn't
him
just the
of all
mailman.
things, where's the mail or do I have mail?
No.
Okay. Let me hear from your wife. Talk to me.
So they moved in on December 1. When they signed the contract, it was supposed to be 2 individuals, Jason and
How
Lois.
soon did mom come in according to you?
Maybe like within 2 weeks, we noticed that she was there. And again, kind of not figuring that she's living there. Like she's there. Then I said something to my husband. I'm like, I think she's living up there. I never see her leaving. Her and Lewis were left home all day alone. Jason does own a taxi company, and so he was out driving taxis all day. They were left alone all day
What do you
home.
mean they were left alone? Lewis is a grown man. Why are you? I don't know what that means. What is the relationship between the two of them?
You'd have to ask them.
What is the relationship?
We're
between
best friends.
Okay. Are you somehow his guardian or something?
I'm his payee,
Payee from who's paying?
SSI.
Okay. Now, when you leave and he gives you a check, how long did it take you to go to the bank? Yeah, you should run to the bank in situations like this.
It was a minute.
Okay, when did you find out that he stopped payment?
When I checked my bank account,
Right, and so did he call you in that interim and tell you, hey, by the way, I stopped
No.
payment on the check again?
No, he didn't.
All right, so what do you say to him when you realize that he stopped payment?
I called him up and asked him why, and he said there was a problem with the apartment, and he wasn't going to make the payment.
Let me ask you a question. How old was that carpet?
1 year.
Okay. And did you attempt to have it shampooed?
I did.
By whom?
Royal Carpet Care.
How'd that go?
It went great.
Oh, so everything's fine. So a shampoo
carpet's
took
fine.
care of it. Okay. So if a shampoo took care of it, and all that I see there is normal wear and tear, then what would entitle you, if you're out $109 on the carpet, what would entitle you to keep $1,200?
So what is better, a small apartment where you live alone or a big house where you live with your landlord?
A small apartment, for sure.
Really? Can have a big house with a pool?
No, I'd prefer my own space.
Okay, what do you say, ma'am?
A small apartment, no doubt. Yeah.
Anybody pick the house?
A big house.
I picked the house because I don't know. Maybe the landowner would give me. He would support me in what I do and just feed me and just.
Yeah, he's just going to feed you and just take care of you for the rest of your life. Going on. Right. Going inside the courtroom.
First of all, I have a checklist here that was signed by Jason and Lewis, attesting to the condition of the apartment before they moved in.
Okay.
Everything was in
Let's
good condition.
see that. That's very helpful. That's good. Go ahead.
I also have receipts for all of the things that had to be replaced.
Show me all of your receipts.
Sure thing.
Because when the shower knobs break, how does that allow you?
Because we signed a contract, and in that
So-
contract, it stipulates that
when
they must.
someone breaches a contract, you were entitled to your damages.
The damages were the shower knobs and the door knobs and the
No,
lost keys.
the damage is zero because you're responsible for fixing them anyway. Okay? So here's what we got. We got a $1,200 security deposit. Did he take the smoke detector?
Yes, he took a smoke detector.
Did you
was
take
missing,
a smoke detector?
No,
as well as a towel bar.
Did the towel bar break?
not that I know of.
Oh, come on, you know if your towel bar. As a person, it's your apartment. You know whether the towel bar break. Just level with me.
Yes.
Okay, well then why are you lying to me beforehand? Okay, how long was Rosemary living with you guys?
I'm not his mom.
Oh, you're not his mom. You're his mom.
No.
Who are you? Who's that lady?
This is Rosemary Polanco's friend.
Oh, I'm
She
sorry.
should
Where's
have tested.
Rosemary? I thought she was Rosemary.
Rosemary's in the home.
Was she living there?
No.
Can I see the original lease? How long were they living there?
5 months.
In those 5 months, did you ever send a notice of violation that they had another person living there or start eviction proceedings or anything like that?
In approximately February 1st, I told them that Rosemary had to leave, and when they explained to me they had no place to put her, I told them by March 1st that they had to move out by April 1st.
Okay.
We just put it back in the home.
Okay.
I also have proof
So when you say
of.
put her back in the home, she was living there, right?
No, when she come to visit.
Okay. You have a counterclaim for $5,000. Other than repeatedly saying they violated the lease, how are you out $5,000 because they, quote, violated the lease?
I'm not, Your Honor. I
Okay.
was happy to keep the security deposit, but when he.
You're not entitled to a security deposit. Everything I've seen does not entitle you to $1,200. So you're going to be able to keep the $109 for the carpet cleaning. But other than that, I find everything else normal wear and tear, and I find in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of $1,091.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, so here comes the defendant, and, well, you got to keep for the carpet cleaning, and what else?
Well, there was nothing else, and I don't think justice was served today. They violated their contract on multiple levels. There were multiple contract violations, including a third person living there who were using utilities while they were living there as well. And that was my major point.
That was it? All right, so you're glad they're out? You got a better tenant living in there now?
Completely.
All right, so everything's cool now.
I'll be happy if I never see them again.
All right, so step on out here, and so right here, you were good. What's your reaction to this outcome here? You win on almost everything.
I'm glad. I'm really uncalled for to be here. You know, it's a shame. It's a real shame.
It's sometimes hard to get that security deposit back from those landlords. Sometimes.
Yeah, no, he had a plan from the beginning.
You happy how it turned out?
Yes, I'm very happy.
Okay, good.
And that we won the money back and everything went perfect. Thank you.
Harvey?
You know, you should know that in some states, landlords can actually be docked 2 and 3 times the actual amount they wrongfully withhold as a penalty. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.